So most of us want a laptop that's powerful enough for everyday work, great to watch movies and TV shows on, lasts all day long without a charger, looks good and doesn't cost a bomb. That's kind of what this laptop does at just about 65,000 rupees. So guys, it's the Asus Vivobook S16 and it comes in these 4 colors with some new color additions. And right now, you could actually get this for under 50,000 rupees with cashback on some bank cards, which makes it incredibly value for money. But there's also an S14 if you fancy a smaller 14-inch display. But we've got this one, so let's talk about this. Now, first of all, this one's different. It's got the latest Snapdragon X processor, and that is what gives it, higher performance, massive battery life, and a lower price than if you were to go with Intel or AMD. Now, we're going to talk about all of that, but first, let's talk about how this looks. So it's an all-metal design, okay? It's quite lightweight, very easy to carry, and for a 16-inch, it really doesn't feel bulky. It's quite comfortable, on your lap, wherever you sit. It's got a nice and wide base, so it rests quite easily and stable. And even the engineering of it seems to be really well done. Like, the lid, it opens up without the whole laptop lifting. The resistance is absolutely amazing. You can pretty much stop it at any angle. Also, the keyboard flex is minimal. Usually, there's some flex here in full-sized keyboards, but this one is built really well. Oh, and by the way, it also goes all the way like this as well. The other thing that I really like is that the palm resting area is very big, so you can type very comfortably. And as a consequence of that, you get a massive trackpad as well. And we'll talk more about how the keyboard feels, how the trackpad is, so hang tight. On the right side, you've got a USB Type-A port, but on the left-hand side, you've got pretty much everything else that you'll need, including the ability to attach up to 3 external displays through these ports. The Type-C ports on the left is what you can use to charge these laptops, and while you do get a 65-watt charger along with the laptop, like this one, you can also use any PD charger to charge this laptop. And since Type-C is available all around you, you're pretty much sorted. Now, one thing that's a little odd is that while the charging port is on the left, the charging LED that comes on is on the right. Weird. All in all, for a 16-inch laptop at this price, I think it looks and feels really nice. Okay, now let's talk about the other thing that you're gonna spend most of your time when you're on the laptop, and that's the display. So this is the kind of screen where Netflix looks better, presentations look sharper, and long work hours don't feel dull. And it's easily one of the best displays that you can find for yourself for under 50,000. And it's not the best because it's a 16-inch FHD Plus display with a 16:10 aspect ratio and a 60 Hz refresh rate, which is pretty decent and also very common. But what makes this display killer is that it's an OLED display, and OLEDs look amazing. Deep blacks really bring out the contrast, the color accuracy is far better than traditional LCD displays, and it's got 300 nits of brightness. Now, 300 nits of brightness might seem like it's low, but 300 nits on OLED could be better than 500 nits on an LCD. So outdoors, you're not gonna have any issues if it's bright, unless of course you're sitting on a really scorching sunny day at noon. That might be a bit much. Now, would have I preferred a 120 Hz display with an anti-reflective coating? For sure, but then that would have also increased the price of this significantly. And what we have here is actually just about perfect for everyday office or college work, and won't hamper any productivity. Now, I also want to demo the speakers to you guys. It's got these bottom-firing stereo speakers right here, and you get a total output of 4 watts from them. But let's have a listen. They're just about fine. If you're in a quiet to semi-quiet place, you're going to be able to hear them nice and clear. But if you're in a noisy or slightly loud place, you're going to have to resort to some sort of headphones. Anyway, let's finally talk about performance. So it's got a Snapdragon X processor with 16 gigs of LPDDR5X non-upgradable RAM and 512 gigs of onboard PCIe Gen 4 SSD. But before I move on, I think it's important for you to understand the Snapdragon X processor lineup. So there are 3 processors in the computing world, the Snapdragon X, the X Plus, and the X Elite, with the X Elite being the most powerful. And the one that we're talking about has the Snapdragon X processor, which is their entry-level chip. And I think it's an affordable choice for a mix of work and personal use. So for everyday light tasks like, browsing the web, watching content, regular office work on, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, or even working on all of them together simultaneously, won't be an issue on this. You could be playing music in the background on your browser, working on Slack, and at the same time editing a PowerPoint presentation and switch seamlessly between them without breaking a sweat. Now, while this is not meant for, hardcore gaming or coding work, you can still totally use it for light Photoshop work or, editing photos in Lightroom or even casual coding. And sure, even casual video editing with 1080p videos is manageable. But three things that I really like about this laptop and I think are big reasons for anyone why they should pick it up is, first, just how cool and quiet this laptop runs. Second, the multi-day battery on this is amazing. And third, performance doesn't dip even if it's unplugged. So if it's not charging, the performance stays the same, which is very unlike Intel and AMD. Look, Intel and AMD both have come a long way when it comes to battery life, but Snapdragon chips built on the ARM architecture are a whole different breed. With regular office work, you will not need to charge this even once through the day or even the second day. It's that good, and not once have I heard the fans make any sound. Anyway, let's talk about some of the more finer things about the laptop that I think would really interest you if in case you're actually serious about buying this laptop. First, the keyboard. It's full-sized, backlit, got a number pad, and as pointed out earlier, you get a lot of palm resting space, so typing is super comfortable. Decent key travel, but more importantly, the typing is very silent. So think about, working in a very quiet office, or when you're working late at night with someone sleeping next to you, the key presses are very subtle and they don't make a lot of noise. Here's a demo. Second, the trackpad. It's quite big and really nice to touch. But what I find most useful is that by swiping vertically on the edges, I'm able to change brightness and volume levels, and horizontally swiping the top edge allows me to go back and forward in videos. I think that's very useful. Now, third, and I think it's super cool that it can sense whenever I'm in front of it, and it directly unlocks it if it can find my face. So yes, it does have the facial login. Fourth, because it's a Snapdragon X processor, it gets its own NPU, which runs at 45 TOPS, which basically means you get really effective AI power. For example, it's a Copilot Plus PC, which means you can launch AI with the push of a button on the keyboard and ask it anything about your PC or any setting, or even switch to Chat GPT mode, all without hitting any website. It also powers the studio effects on the webcam. So, it can reframe you in the frame. It can blur the background. It can even add creative effects to your look. Speaking of webcam, you also get built-in noise cancellation mics that uses AI to isolate your voice so that you sound clear on calls. And while it comes with your copy of Windows 11, you also get a licensed version of Microsoft Office 2024 lifetime. Oh, and the laptop does support Wi-Fi 6E speeds, and it's got Bluetooth 5.3. Guys, overall, I think the Vivobook S16 is in a very sweet spot between affordability and a premium experience. As mentioned, it's available in 4 colors with 512 gigs of internal storage and 16 gigs of RAM. The laptop actually costs about 65,000, but right now you can get up to 14,000 rupees cashback on select cards, and that brings the laptop down to under 50,000 rupees, making it an absolutely killer deal. And again, let me point out, the key differentiator here is that it's an OLED display, you get a multi-day battery, and you get a super silent laptop experience. That is what you're really paying for on top of the Snapdragon X chip that you get. And as mentioned, while it may not be a great fit for gamers and coders, but definitely a very good laptop for students, professionals, and office goers. All in all, guys, if you're looking for a laptop that looks good, lasts long, and really makes your everyday computing a lot smoother, the Vivobook S16 should definitely be on your list. Anyway, that's it, guys, about the Vivobook S16. If you guys still have any questions, thoughts, comments, please let me know in the comment section. And if you did enjoy watching the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification icon, and mark all. Really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.